What's going on, fish? Welcome back to your favorite Coy Pond. As always, I'm joined with my favorite co-host. Sorry, Matt. K-Dog. I'm Colin, and you've made it halfway through the week. It's Thursday, which means it's time for the 48th episode of the Coy Pond. How are you doing?
Great to be here. Looking forward to another week of football.
Yes.
And we'll get to it, but somehow my Cowboys had a good week despite all the injuries.
No doubt. That was a great game to watch. It was actually way more exciting than I thought it could have been, potentially either way. But another week in the books. The Chargers managed to not lose anybody this week because they were on a bye. So
Very nice.
I can live with that. I was trying to think. There's one thing I wanted to do. Oh, Brandon Ayuk is officially the 37th best ranked wide receiver in the league. So moving up in the rankings from, I think, previously was 59. As always, Brandon Ayuk Watch, brought to you by the Coy Pond. One other thing I wanted to say before we got into anything is presenting the first ever Spooktober Award. And since we are now finally in October, the spookiest player in the NFL.
Oh.
I would like to, he has no idea about this, personally award Deshaun Watson, the absolute scariest player there is. Walked off the field with his coach yelling at him to get back out there, emotionless. I have no words for that. Just to talk about one thing, that was insane.
It looked like a child, like a kid that you have that you're trying to get to play sports.
Yes.
And they're like, I don't want to, or something like that.
It felt just like that.
It looked exactly like that.
So, Deshaun Watson, Cleveland Browns, I don't know who gets the Spooktober Award, but here you go. You've won the first annual Coy Pond Spooktober Award. There's still 3 more left, unless I've done the math wrong, and then there's 2 Thursdays left. But
I love it.
Anyway,
I love it.
Go ahead and get into some of the games that happened.
Let's get into some of the games. You want to talk about the Coy Pond bet?
Yes, so we did the over.
Yep.
Coy Pond picks are now 3-2 on the year. We did the over in the Buccaneers-Falcons game, I believe it was, that Thursday night, and it did really well. I mean, I think it hit by almost half.
Can't complain on that.
No, it was, I think, 43.5. It obviously went to 66 points. So
crazy.
We're 3-2, so not sharps, but once we go 10-2, I'd say we are.
We get there.
Yeah, but that Buccaneers-Falcons game was insane. I think we have to talk about that one.
Crazy.
I did not expect it to end the way it did. Kirk Cousins is finally in form. Drake London had an amazing performance.
Yes, finally.
Kind of blown away. Tampa Bay kind of gave that game away, but also, if I remember correctly, the Falcons, Kirk Cousins threw a pick at the end of that game that should have sealed the deal.
Should have, yeah.
And then the Buccaneers threw the ball a few times.
I think
if I
time
remember
management
right.
didn't run the clock.
Both teams looked pretty rough coach-wise at the end there on clock management. I don't know if Peyton Manning said anything about it. He'd be the one that would, but kudos to the Falcons for getting that win, honestly.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, 509 yards passing. Incredible.
Yeah, appreciate them beating the allegations of an under game. I know a lot of people had that. We were not, but, exciting Thursday night games is what we need.
I think, if we move on to Sunday, I think, we had our first international game. I don't think we really need to touch on that, although it led to something that happened yesterday.
Salah's gone, or Salah, Salah, however you want to say it. He's no longer with the Jets, which, it's hard to argue with a record like that,
Apparently, I don't know if you heard this, but he was already making a move with the offensive coordinator.
He was going to fire the offensive coordinator. Is that what it was?
Nathaniel Hackett, yeah. And they were already preparing to move some guy into that role or something.
That's crazy.
And right after he had gone through and done that, ownership came through and said, you're out.
Yeah, beat him to the punchline, I guess.
So I don't know if that was one caused the other, or if it was already in the works. Rodgers has vehemently denied he had anything to do with the canning.
It makes sense. He indirectly did by performance, obviously, but still, nevertheless, I'm sure he'll get a great defensive coordinator position some other place in the next year. I think he already said he's not coming back this year. Maybe. Don't quote me on that, but who knows?
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Let's go on to, first of all, kudos to the Bears for winning. That was a big win for them.
Yes, Bears needed that drastically. I was not surprised with the score of that game.
Baltimore and Cincinnati, barn burner.
That was terrible if you're a Bengals fan.
Yeah.
Towards the end there, the aggressiveness was a bit interesting. McPherson missing that field goal to end the game.
Yeah, so the punter is the holder.
Yep.
Never works.
Nope.
I think Bill Belichick said punters want to punt, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it never works.
It was a bit rough. Hate to see it. Obviously Derrick Henry on that last drive of the game ran for like 30-something yards in that play.
Just crazy.
It was unfortunate. I mean, heart goes out to the Bengals fans. That was, should have had it. Ravens came from, I think, down 14.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Probably the one we got to highlight is because I picked Cleveland as my upset to beat Washington.
Yep.
That came nowhere close to happening.
Deshaun's going to Deshaun.
That's what I get for, putting money on baby man.
Well, you know what? You live and you learn. Jaden Daniels still really good. Still hasn't played a legit defense, though. We'll get into that later.
Yep. Let's see, Colts and Jacksonville. Surprisingly.
Colts still can't win in Clanton. It's unfortunate, but, for whatever reason, the Jacksonville Jaguars have their number.
They really do.
I don't think that Jacksonville's any better than they were the week before. I just can't believe the Colts still can't win in Jacksonville.
So true.
Just bizarre.
Buffalo loses to Houston.
Yes. I didn't watch all of this game, but that was crazy.
Yeah. Josh Allen, the concussion. Did he have a concussion? Yeah. He did, probably.
Right.
NFL's looking into that.
Crazy. They won without Mixon. I'm assuming Mixon will be back this week.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll have to see there.
Let's see. Denver is just putting it to people. Now, that's just incredible what they're doing.
Yeah, the Raiders are a mess. The Broncos defense finally seems like they've kind of gotten it together, and then the offense is clicking right now.
One of the things I noticed on that, I was looking, just trying to understand what Denver was all about.
Right.
They're very opportunistic, for one.
Okay.
And Minshew, who's now been benched for Aiden O'Donnell, has helped them immensely. But their draft on defense, this recent draft on defense, they got some pretty top players that I had forgotten about. And all those guys right now are playing very well for rookies.
Damn. Okay.
So not only do they have a rookie quarterback,
right,
they've got a lot of key spots on the defense that are performing really well, and they're rookies.
Good on them. I like to see the Broncos doing well, to be honest with you. And the Raiders are in disarray right now with the whole Devontae Adams thing, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Going to be a tough spot to fill because it feels like he has a hamstring injury again this week, but everyone knows he's just waiting to get traded.
Arizona somehow beats the Niners.
That was insanity. I mean, they came back from down 10, down 7, something. They were down.
Yeah, they were down at least 10.
Not a good look for the 49ers at home whatsoever.
The injuries continue to plague them.
Yep.
Key players are out or not playing the whole game or getting nicked up, coming in and playing part. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, Kittle caught another touchdown, another big game, first big game from Brandon Ayuk without a touchdown, I believe. And they still find a way to lose that. I don't know if George Mason got involved too much.
It was not a big game for him, I don't think.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
so,
for him it was not a whole lot.
It is what it is there, and maybe they'll get it together. I know there's been a couple comments from Kyle Shanahan about how disappointing that game was, which understandably losing to a division rival at home is not a great way to start the season.
No. Green Bay at the Rams. Green Bay wins by 5.
Yeah, what was that? Tucker Kraft had the game of his life.
He did, yeah.
Fucking weapon.
2 touchdowns and some big catches, and
they're making it work without whoever that was that got out. Because they activated Wicks.
Yeah.
Jordan Reed or
Christian Watson, I think.
Christian Watson.
Yeah. Yep.
The Packers getting it done once again.
They are.
The Rams pretty beat up. I don't know defensively how they've looked, but nevertheless, a win's a win.
Yeah. Giants get the win of the weekend.
Oh my God, I could not believe this.
Going all the way to Seattle.
This really goes to show, I think the Seahawks have beat injured Miami Dolphins, early on Broncos, and the Panthers. So the Seahawks then losing to the Giants and Seattle when the Giants had to travel across the country. I might have the Seahawks as pretenders.
Well, Daniel Jones played a really good game.
He did.
He quarterback runs, which they had done a lot of.
Right.
He did quite a bit of that. They finally get a running back, Tyrone Tracy, that gets 100-plus yards.
That's right. He was in for Singletary.
Yeah, and Darius Slayton has over 100 yards, which was a big game for him, too. So maybe they're kind of figuring out the defense looked really good for the Giants.
It did. They were giving DK Metcalf nothing to work with whatsoever. So kudos to the Giants. Maybe not looking quite as bad as everyone thought initially at the start of the season.
Yeah. Dallas at Pittsburgh, hell of a game. 90-minute delay for lightning and the weather.
The photos of that were awesome. Sorry, not hilarious. Really cool.
Amazing. Yeah. So Cowboys outlast the Steelers.
Yep.
Steelers defense, Steelers special teams are incredible.
Oh my God.
They just got to figure out what they're doing on offense, and I don't know if that means Russell Wilson.
I don't know. I mean, Justin Field had a couple moments in that game people probably didn't like if you're a Steelers fan. Nevertheless, that defense, you just have to watch TJ Watt, and you know if the offense is going to be able to have a play or not, to be honest.
Yeah.
And keep your eyes just locked on him as usual. They didn't get many to Pickens whatsoever. No. I was curious if that was Dallas defense or if they just assumed he would be double. He didn't have as much playing time because he had the always fucking open on his face.
There was an issue with that.
That was the Tomlin controversy. Yep. Now it's coming back to me.
Yeah, there was, and when he was open, Fields just wasn't getting him the ball.
I was gonna say it was like overthrown a couple times, underthrown.
Yep.
Good for Cowboys fans.
Can't beat that. Odd to have that many turnovers. And Dallas almost gave the game on turnover at the end of the game with Rico Dowdle away.
That I don't remember who the Steelers player's name was.
Number
forgive
50,
me.
Whoever that is.
Whoever speared Dowdle, jumping over the pile.
Yeah,
keep doing it.
I mean, incredible.
They just happened. The Cowboys just happened to get lucky that
Dak jumped on it before the corner did.
Yeah, because they looked at each other for half a second. Yeah, so almost worked.
Almost worked,
but win's a win.
Chiefs roll on. Saints looking more like the Saints. Derek Carr, one of our favorites. Back to himself. Of course, he couldn't be that way when he played Dallas. He's got to be a world beater then.
And the time I bet on him, he has to be, Derek Carr of old. We talked about this, I think, before the season started or last couple of weeks. Like at some point, he'll turn back to himself.
Yep.
And it came out that he hurt himself throwing the ball that far.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it was, not the hit.
Really?
Really. So his oblique injury was from him heaving the ball for the 8th time. To the other 20.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
I mean, it was so ridiculous.
That's stupid.
I'm not in the NFL. I'm not anything like an NFL player, but good God, it's ridiculous when it's 3rd and 8, and for the 5th time I watched Derek Carr overthrow Shaheed.
Sail a ball. And the guy's fast as hell.
No, I think he's going for the a record for the most time the ball's been in the air for any quarterback in a single season, because right now he's got to be at the top of that list.
Nothing else makes sense.
It doesn't. And, there's a couple calls here and there during that game that were questionable, but it didn't feel like it was a game where the Chiefs really had to do much more than just rush Derek Carr.
Yeah. So shall we move on to the upcoming matchups?
Yes, I completely agree. We're kind of speeding through it today, guys. We got some other stuff going on later, so this is going to be a shorter episode across the board. Thoughts? Where was I going to get? What's a good thing to lead into with that? Appreciate you guys understanding.
Yeah,
we'll be back next week with the normal episode.
Also appreciate the 76 of the 77 subscribers.
Oh yes, thank you
very,
very much. Up to the Coy Pond record of 77 subscribers.
Yay!
Merch shop still coming soon. Voicemail still coming soon. Just been a busy week, so we're making it work for you guys and to let us vent a little bit.
Yep.
As always, though, let's get into the week. Was it 7, 6?
Yeah. Tonight's game. Week 6.
Week 6.
Tonight's game, October 10th.
Yep. 49ers at Seattle.
Over under is 49.5.
God damn.
Seattle, the great pretender, as you just said.
Yeah.
The Niners pissed off with the Cardinals. Both teams seem to be in some disarray.
They do. I mean, technically, you would be able to say that both these defenses have been a little hurt, a little banged up, giving up some points to some questionable teams, Cardinals and Giants as of last. The Seahawks haven't beat anybody really with any real substance, I'd say, yet.
Yeah.
I would definitely think about taking 49ers -3. That's not the Coy Pond pick. We do over-unders. But that leads me to be like, do I think this game gets to 50 points? Or do I think this game is going to be like a 49ers blowout?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see the Seahawks winning, personally.
Yeah. It feels like, to me, it feels like a 24-20. I don't see a blowout. I think Seattle at home balances that enough. The Niners being nicked up and banged up.
Right.
That they've struggled too. So I think it's...
Back on the unders?
24-23. Yeah, I'm going under.
Under? All right.
Yep.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Coy Pond pick of the week. 3-2 so far. We're going under. Under 49.5 is when this video is coming out. You might be able to get it at 50.5 tomorrow, the day you're watching, Thursday. Keep an eye on it. Nevertheless, I guess that covers us on that game. I personally think the 49ers will cover that -3.
I believe that too.
Okay.
I'm with you. I just don't see them losing another game. Seattle's a different story.
Yeah, it's divisional too, but I just, at least with a -3, you could push on a field goal.
Yeah. Yep. We got Jacksonville at Chicago. This one's the international game in London.
Oh, right. I mean, doesn't Jacksonville have a kind of a good crowd in London?
They do. They're very popular internationally.
Caleb Williams, first time traveling. We know he has those terrible games in him, kind of. He just got off a huge win against Carolina.
Their defense is good.
Yeah.
Bears defense.
Trevor Lawrence has not looked impressive.
Nope. That's a shitstorm potentially.
I mean, I might just take the under 44.5 on that one.
I'd go under on it too.
Just for out of the traveling and both the defenses being a little bit more productive than their offenses as of late.
And I think I'm going to go with the Bears just because of their defense.
I like that.
So we got the Cardinals at the Packers at 1 o'clock.
Oh, yes.
47.5.
That should be a good game to some extent. I think the Packers defense has been a little bit more locked down. I can't remember off the top of my head how the Packers have done. I think they've been kind of terrible against the run. So maybe watch for a big game from James Conner here.
Yeah.
5.5 is a weird number. 47.5 over under. It's in Green Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cardinals have been so back and forth this year on if they're going to score a ton of points or if they're going to lay a goose egg.
Yeah. It's just hard to say.
I'd probably just pick Packers to win this.
Yep, I would too.
Over just being them just being well-rounded.
I think so too.
But I could see it being a close game within like 3 probably.
Yep, I would say so. Colts at Titans. 43.5. This feels like a low-scoring game to me.
It does. I mean, out of principle, I'd probably pick the Colts, even if it's Joe Flacco. But this does feel like it might be the worst game of the week.
Yeah, it could very well be.
I think there's another one I also hate, but right now, I'd probably pick Colts to win.
I probably would.
Offensively for the Titans, I don't even think they've got it.
Colts bounce back after losing to the Jags.
Yeah, personally, it's still in division, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd pick Colts, but I don't really have much to say. That's one of those kind of games you just have on the red zone.
Is this Houston at New England? Is that Derek May's first start?
Drake Mays?
Drake May, thank you.
Yes, it is officially Drake May's first start.
All right. 38.5 is the over-under.
I take over.
Yeah.
I think if Mixon's back, which I think he is, don't quote me on it, check your fucking fantasy leagues, I would assume the Houston Texans being not mad about last week, but that game was closer than it probably should have been in their eyes. And that offensive line for the Patriots is terrible. Now, given that means the Texans probably have to score all 42 of those points to get the over.
Yeah.
But
and that probably could happen.
Yeah. So Ramondre Stevenson probably going to be used a lot in that game too.
Buccaneers at Saints, 41.5. Tampa Bay by 3.5.
I don't know if the Saints. I think they're still deciding if it's going to be Spencer Rattler or Jake Hepner.
Yeah.
He didn't look too bad. He had a pretty good ball at Chris Olave that he dropped. Thanks, Chris, for ruining my fantasy week. I probably have to go with the Buccaneers, even though it's at the Saints. I think the Saints are on their third center. Tampa Bay's line, I don't think is terrible. Both teams know each other very well. I'd probably just lean Tampa Bay, even though it is at the Saints.
I think Tampa Bay, something like 34-10, 34-17.
I could
probably
see
a blowout.
It's going to be rough. They're going to run trick plays a lot with Taysom Hill just to try and keep it close.
Yeah. Cleveland and Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia gets back on track.
I believe A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are back this week, too.
That's the last I saw.
I don't think our Spooktober award of the week, Deshaun Watson's going to be able to do much, if anything, against this team.
Will this be the week he gets benched?
I hope, for the Browns' sake. They got to figure something else out.
Yeah.
Add one more list to the name to the list of the guy with the QB jersey from way back in the day that's just had duct taped of all the names throughout the years.
Yeah.
8.5 might be a lot, but regardless, I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this easy.
Yeah, I think the Eagles cover.
It's at Philly too, so this doesn't feel like it's a trap game necessarily.
And it may not get over, but it won't be because of the Eagles. It'll be because of the Browns. I'm thinking like 27-6, 27-9.
I agree. At some point, both these teams are going to lay off the gas. It's a 1 o'clock game on a Sunday.
Yeah. Another 1 o'clock game. This is an exciting one. Washington and Baltimore. Not a lot of travel here. They're within an hour of one another?
Easily.
Over under 51.5. I'd slide that one over.
I would pick over too.
Yeah.
I think high scoring game. I could see Baltimore winning by 10 here. I really think if you look at who the Commanders have throttled, they really haven't played defenses that are good.
No.
Browns, Bengals, and one other team they ran through, maybe the Cardinals.
Yeah.
They haven't really played a defense, in my opinion, that has looked top 5, top 10 so far. I think the Ravens, have a better defense than most of those teams so far, given they just gave up 38 to the Bengals, but Joe Burrow's a beast. So, I don't know.
I think the Ravens get the run going early.
Yeah.
They get them down.
Put them in a blender.
Yep, put them in a blender.
Time of possession them to death.
I think Washington comes back with points toward the end of the game because they can score.
Yeah.
But I still think you're looking at like a 38-21, 38-24 kind of game.
That's how I'm feeling.
Baltimore.
I'm going to go with Baltimore as well.
All right, your Chargers at the resurgent Denver Broncos at 4 o'clock.
This is going to be a 20-10 game, 13-10 game. I don't know who wins. I'd hammer the under 35.5. Broncos and Chargers both have amazing defenses with offenses that are still working it out. I could definitely see the Chargers winning 13-10, and I could very easily see the Broncos winning 13-10. It kind of just depends on whose quarterback either A, doesn't get hurt or makes more completions.
Yep.
Javonte Williams, I don't think will be able to do much, and that therefore will be on Bo Nix to throw the ball. I don't know what to expect. It is in Denver, so I'd give him the slight edge. Chargers have J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, who have been doing decent. They've played some pretty rough defenses, both the Chiefs and the Steelers against the run. Very good. So I think the Chargers will be able to run the ball without having to throw Justin Herbert to the Wolves. However, all it takes is one hit, his ankle's tweaked, and he's out for the rest of that game. So I could see this being 20-10, 13-10, personally.
Yeah.
So under. 2.5 is a good spread. Take a money line. Don't take the spread in that one.
Yeah, is Derwin James back in this game?
Yes, he was only suspended I guess I don't know if the suspension was 1 week or one game.
Okay.
Because if it's one game, he won't be in. No. They played the Chiefs after the
Yeah, they did.
He's back.
Yep.
He's back. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
Got my PEMDAS wrong.
But that's good, though.
Yeah, it is.
And I think as long as Justin Herbert stays upright,
yes,
I think the Chargers have a really good chance. They haven't seen a quarterback like him.
Right, and if he goes down in a Heineke versus Bo Nix, this game will end in a tie at 10-10.
Speaking of quarterback issues, Pittsburgh at Las Vegas.
Oh, my God.
Both teams,
issues. I'm throwing by no means any shade to both these teams. I will be picking the Steelers strictly on the fact of that defense.
That defense, that special teams,
Yep.
They blocked a field goal attempt with Dallas.
Yep.
Incredible effort.
I don't know how this spread is 3. Sorry, not to
No, you're good.
Off.
Yeah, because they're on the road, right?
Yeah.
You think it should be more?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I think 3 is the best number I've ever seen because that pushes for the Steelers, which is very possible, or you just win.
Yeah, I think this will be a week where Justin Fields will play. Of course, they won't get to 20 points, and they'll still win the game. So,
I can see that.
The rematch, Detroit at Dallas. So we were at the game, last year.
If you've been watching the podcast long enough, you know we were at the last one.
And I just don't see how Detroit hasn't had this circled since it was on the schedule.
I feel the same way.
The 2-point conversion debacle down in Dallas, the referees, the check-in with Dan Skipper, I think his name was.
Yeah, something like that.
And, declaring, not declaring.
Absolute fucking crazy game.
Dan Campbell wants revenge, and he's going to have them pumped up for revenge.
Again, I agree. He's definitely had this game circled, and as you know from that game, it was not his fault, but there were some questionable decisions I think Dan Campbell made in that game specifically that led them to be in that position in the first place. Yep. So players can forget. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
He did not.
No.
So I'd have to agree with you. Maybe take the -3 there too. That's a safe, good push, if anything.
And by the way, the Cowboys are 0-2 at home.
I was about to say they
0-3. Yeah. 0-3 if you go back to the Packer game at the end of last year.
Christ.
2 of the 3 games have been blowouts.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree. I just
actually,
looking at
2 of the 3 have been blowouts.
Yeah, looking at the home numbers for the Cowboys this year, I think we have a away team special and a home team sadness. So
yeah,
I'd lean Tigers, Lions as well. But
oh my,
yeah, exactly. Who knows?
Atlanta at Carolina.
Divisional game.
Landslide for Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I'd have to assume.
Atlanta by 6 on the line, 46.5 over and under.
I just take Atlanta to win.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be close. Andy Dalton's charmed. He's got them doing more. But it won't be enough.
Yeah, there's a reason they're backups. As much as you want to act like Andy Dalton was the best quarterback ever in Cincinnati when he lost you 6 or 8 playoff games in a row, there's a reason he's a backup now.
That's right.
And Thielen's out, so that's out of his control.
Yep. Cincinnati at the New York Giants, Sunday Night Football.
Oh, boy.
Cincinnati favored by 3.5. It's at New York. Over-under's 47.5. Cincinnati, I don't know. The Giants all of a sudden look good.
Giants have some life. The Bengals defense, I think, is still banged up.
Can't really stop anyone.
No, put it in the comments below if I'm wrong. Giants defense, I don't think is anything special. I know they have the sack leader right now in the season.
They have Burns that was with the Panthers the year before. They certainly played better, but it was against Seattle.
No doubt. Also, though, Bengals O-line looks a little rough. I think Mims went down last week as well, or during that Ravens game. So, I mean, I'm not saying take Giants to win, but, there's a conversation to be had about how this game turns out.
Yeah, I think Cincy wins, but they don't cover the 3.5.
I can see that.
That's what I think.
I get behind that.
All right, Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills at the Jets.
Jets have that really cool defensive coordinator as their interim head coach. Aaron Rodgers down in the dumps that he got his favorite boy fired. Josh Allen, concussion protocol, maybe.
Yeah, is he playing? We don't know yet.
Yeah, so it's in New York.
Yep.
Oh, well, sorry, both these teams are from New York, but it's in Jersey, in the Meadowlands.
Yep.
40.5 feels low. I don't know who I really like to win this. I'd have to lean the Bills because they've been hotter for longer. But
I would.
But, I don't know.
Doesn't feel like a slam dunk, does it?
It doesn't. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe this weekend in the comments I'll put a more detailed analysis from myself since this is the next Monday. We're still 5 days out from that game.
Right.
I haven't looked at it too much, but I am curious. The 40.5 feels low.
It does. I think a lot of times when you get a first time head coach, you've had the situation they've had. We'll find out
fired up, right?
We'll find out how much it really was an issue with the head coach. But I expected they'll come out fired up, and I think the Jets win.
I could see that, and if they do, it has to be an over game. I mean, I could see this being a 23-21.
Yeah,
23-20, which in either way that covers the 40.5. So maybe I think personally I'd just go with the over.
And let's hope Breece Hall finally gets going.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
I don't know
what that's been about.
Yeah.
But like you said, it happened with the Raiders last year. They kind of came out firing with Aiden O'Connell after kind of a slow start to the year.
Yep.
There's been a few other teams in the past. I can't think of off the top of my head.
Cowboys did it when they took Wade Phillips out back in the 2000s or whatever it was, 2010. Wade Phillips went out. Jason Garrett came in, and they played the game of their life against the Giants and won with John Kenton at quarterback.
Oh.
So
number 3,
blast from the past,
legend. Still got that
great
cleat.
shoes.
Great shoes. Oh man. Well, that's all I got. That's all we got for this week. Appreciate you guys understanding. It was going to be a shorter episode, as you see when you click on it.
Thank you.
Leave a comment down below if you want me to go in more analysis. I will comment your ear off on different stats when I have them in front of me. When we do this off the cuff, sometimes not everything comes out the right way I meant it, but such is life.
Appreciate you joining us.
Yeah. Thank you for 77. Hope everyone has a great rest of their week. You've made it halfway through. It's Thursday. Let's fucking go. And we will see you all next week.
Right on.
Peace.